Story 1. Am I the a-hole here for ending an 8-year friendship after my cameras recorded her in my home when I was out of town? Backstory. My friend and I met when I was her hairstylist. Then we realized that we only lived about 6 blocks apart. Due in part to the proximity, we became very close, and she would stop by 3 or more times a week. We enjoyed a lot of the same crafts and we had a mutual love of plants, so we often worked together in my yard or hung out by my fire pit. She had a lot of constant personal relationship crisis, which I always pointed out that she brought on herself, and it became more and more exhausting to spend time with her. Consequently, I slowly tried to limit our time together, although I did care about her and knew she didn't have many other friends. Okay, so I went out of town to visit my daughter at college, but before I left, I installed the new security system that I had received. It didn't really occur to me to mention it to anyone. When I was with my daughter, I told her about it, and we got on her phone so I could teach her how to watch the cameras at home also. We have 2 cats, and she wanted to be able to see them and interact with them. I was showing her how to see the clips from the motions detected earlier in the day. It was nighttime, so the house was dark, in which case the camera lights are on for detection. In a clip from 2 hours earlier, I noticed my friend walking through my house with the flashlight of her phone. She was inspecting every drawer, cupboard, and nook and cranny. My daughter and I were in shock. I texted her immediately. I asked her if she was at my house today, and she replied that she had been in the backyard picking up sticks, apparently for a fire pit she intended to have at her home that evening. Again, I asked her if she had been in the house. She responded that she had to go into my garage to look for a container. I then told her I had security cameras now. She laughed and asked why I was asking her if she was there, because I had obviously seen her already in the backyard. She had no clue that I had also installed them in the house. So I sent her a screenshot and asked her if she knew who that person might be in my house with the flashlight. She waited a few minutes to respond and then said, "Oh yeah, your cat got out." I asked her how my cat would get out if nobody was in the house, and she responded, "I'm so sorry. I forgot that I was looking in your house for some gel pens because I needed to do artwork." I reminded her that she had just bought 100 of them the previous week. At this point, I was really getting pissed. I told her that I was freaked out that I saw her sneaking around my house with the flashlight, and that made me uncomfortable. She just kept laughing it off, and then, when she realized I really was upset, she changed her tune to one of remorse and said she just needed to find something to do because she was upset with her boyfriend. I told her that I didn't think I could spend time with her anymore because I had spent years trying to teach her about boundaries, and our friendship was beginning to exhausting me. So I was telling the story to the guy that rents my basement, and he said that she is at my house every time I'm out of town. He was used to seeing her around, so he thought maybe I had asked her to do something there. 2 weeks later, she texted and needed relationship advice and acted like since we were so close, it should not be a big deal. I told her what my basement renter said. I was super pissed at this point. She became very offended and said it was nobody else's business and I should not have told anybody about it. I told her our friendship was definitely over and to not contact me again. I told her that I was removing myself from toxic people. Later, I was talking to one of my other clients about it, and they kind of made me feel that I was not a very good friend because I needed to have a talk with her and forgive her. They said that people make mistakes, I need to be forgiven, and she should get another chance. Since she was exhausting me anyway, I just can't bring myself to want to have anything to do with her. Am I the a-hole? Comment, your client is an idiot. You did the right thing, not the a-hole at all. What? So a person breaks and enters into your home multiple times and is already a bad friend, and you're considering listening to a client who thinks you should forgive? You can forgive her, but definitely change your locks and do not rekindle the friendship. People always think that forgiveness means putting a doormat sign on your back. It doesn't mean that. Yes, I can and will forgive you, but will I let you back into my orbit? Absolutely not. No one gets to behave poorly, then put the onus on me to be the bigger person. Comment B. You know what a good friend doesn't do? A good friend doesn't sneak into your house without your permission to bum around every time you're out of town. Not the a-hole. Comment C. I took away my dad's key to our house after our cameras captured him walking in unannounced. It's your house and you should be able to control who comes and goes. I would change all the locks though, immediately. Comment D. Not the a-hole. You should seriously do an inventory check. See if she stole anything. I have a feeling she has been using you as a supply line for a while now. She is probably doing the same thing with your neighbors. That's why she doesn't want you saying anything. I would warn the whole neighborhood. There have been many times in the last couple years where I was missing something. Usually medication. Now everything makes sense to me. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for locking my bedroom door at night to keep my dad's girlfriend's kid out? My dad moved his girlfriend and her son, 5, in with us in October. I, 15, guess my dad's girlfriend had hyped her son up to have a brother, and he's been clingy with me since they moved in. When I'm home, he's following me around and wanting me to play with him. He tries to get inside my room whether I'm there or not. Sometimes I'll get home from a friend's house, and he's bouncing on my bed, and then he'll try to jump on me. He'll ask for me piggyback rides whether we're home or if we're out on family trips with my dad and his mom. His mom complains when I say no, and then dad will tell me I could carry him around for a little while. And why can't I give the kid what he wants? I hate it, but it's worse at night. The kid sleepwalks some nights, and other nights he wakes up and he just can't fall back asleep. Before, when he'd wake up, he'd come into my room and I'd send him away. It made his mom angry because he'd go back to his room for ages and then go to her, and by then it would be almost time to get up. She told me I'm supposed to do better for my little brother, and I asked her what little brother. I'm an only child. She said I knew who she was talking about and whether I'm happy about it or not. And clearly I'm not. I'm no longer an only child. I told her just because she thinks that doesn't mean I do. She told me he's my brother, and I told her if her and dad break up, I'll never have to see her kid again. My dad and her broke up for like a week after I said that, but they stayed while she looked for a place, and then she took dad back and she didn't move out with her son. The night stuff got so annoying that I started locking my door. It even saved me from him sleepwalking into my room. He didn't tell his mom at first, but the other night he was crying so hard, and she asked why he was upset. And he said I locked my door, and he didn't think I liked him, and he wanted me to go back to being his brother. I heard him talk to her, but I pretended I was still asleep. When I got up a few hours later, dad and his girlfriend were waiting, and they flipped out on me for locking my door at night. I said I didn't want to be woken up, and his girlfriend was yelling at me and saying I broke her son's heart. I told her I didn't care, and I didn't want to deal with her kid in the middle of the night. She said I broke her and dad up once over this, and I won't do it again. Dad told me not to lock my door, but I did the next night anyway. She wants dad to take the handle off my door so I can't lock it anymore, but it's too much effort for him. She told me I was being a brat and said how effing cruel could I'm being. They're talking about breaking up, and she's putting it on me for locking the door and refusing to be a brother to her son. She said keeping him out like this is happening way too much, and it's mean to a little kid. Am I the a-hole? Comment A, not the a-hole. Even if the child was related to you, a teen should not be expected to do all the nighttime parenting. You need to talk to your dad about this one-on-one, not being too harsh or rejecting of your step-sibling, but clear about how you still need to have your boundaries. My dad never listens when we talk. He's more focused on his love life and has been for most of my life. I don't think he really cares about my boundaries or what's best for me. Piping in as a grandmother here, I am so sorry that your father doesn't listen to you. You should not be doing the nighttime parenting. This is not your responsibility. Your girlfriend's son needs a doctor-recommended way of handling sleepwalking. So there is a consistent response that can become a habit. His mother should handle that, but everyone in the family should know what to do. It's only natural that a 5-year-old boy would want to hang with a teenager, and it sounds like you tried hard to fit him into your life. You shouldn't have to be his 24/7 companion. I'd tell your father and his girlfriend that you are trying to learn how to set healthy boundaries. Is there anyone else in your family you could talk to that your father might listen to? Comment B, she won't move out. It would mean she would have to stand on her own 2 feet. Yep, this all day. The leash has attached its maw, and the dad needs to realize this and pull it off. Comment C, leave the door unlocked. Every time that kid comes in, take him to your dad's bedroom, walk the boy in without knocking, and yell, "Wakey, wakey, time to parent," and go back to bed. Story 3, am I the a-hole here for kissing my boyfriend in front of his ex when I didn't even realize the ex was there? And I've been a long-time lurker, but I really need some advice on this. Me, 27 male, and my boyfriend Jamie, 28 male, have been dating for over a year and he's legit my favorite person. Before we were together, he dated the son of family friends, Don, 28 male. They dated when they were teenagers and broke up once uni hit. Jamie was the one who initiated the breakup, and he told me Don seemed to take it fine, but he'd had his suspicions over the years that he never fully got over it. Jamie was very open with me that he still has to see him at family functions and asked me if I was okay with that. I'm not a control freak. I told him I trust him, and when I was eventually invited to family things too. Besides one awkward meeting, we steered clear of each other. A couple days ago, we were at Jamie's mom's 64 female birthday party. The weather was slightly warmer, so we were all hanging out in the backyard. Jamie had his arm around my waist. Promise this is relevant. While we were just talking to each other. Me, being very in love with my boyfriend, leaned in and gave him a kiss at some point. Not some big sloppy makeout, just a 5-second thing. Nothing crazy, right? What I didn't see before I leaned in was Don standing near us with Jamie's sister, Lana, 25 female. When I saw them after I pulled away from Jamie, they immediately started whispering to each other and scowling at me. I gave them a funny look and took a very confused Jamie back inside. He asked me what was up, and I told him about Don and Lana, and he rolled his eyes. Lana, with her perfect timing, came inside too, and told me in a very tight voice that we were being dicks for kissing and groping each other right in front of Don. I was so shocked as me and Lana always got along, but I couldn't even get a word in before Jamie got upset with her, saying that he didn't care if Don was still feeling like a bruised peach after so many years. He towed me away after that, and I was trying not to giggle as we just enjoyed the rest of the party. When we got home, Jamie had a bunch of messages from his family about how disrespectful I was, and that they wanted both of us to apologize before the next family event. We're both pretty weirded out, and I just need some outside opinions. Was I really that wrong for kissing him? Edit. I'm so sorry I haven't replied to any comments yet. I've been super busy today. I just wanted to make a quick edit to clarify that when I said Jamie's family was texting him, I meant just his immediate family, mom, dad, and Lana. It was a busy party with many more family members, but it was just those three that were messaging him. Upset. I apologize if that was a bit confusing. Comment A, not the a-hole. From what you're saying, you didn't know Don was there when you kissed Jamie, and it wasn't some over-the-top display of affection, just a quick kiss in the middle of a conversation. Honestly, it's weird that his family's acting like you committed some big offense. I get that Don might still have feelings, but it's been years, and Jamie and you are in a relationship now. The situation is definitely awkward, but that doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Jamie's ex is going to have to learn how to deal with the reality of the situation, especially since Jamie was clear about the breakup years ago. If his family is so invested in how Don feels after all this time, that's on them, not you. And Lana calling you out for kissing in front of Don, when she's probably seen her brother with past girlfriends or partners, is a bit of an overreaction. You weren't intentionally disrespecting anyone, and it sounds like you were blindsided by the reaction. It's not like you made a big scene, so you're definitely not the a-hole here. Comment B, not the a-hole. It's insane a bunch of adults at a 64th birthday party were so concerned over a 5-second kiss between a couple that has been together for a year. This must have been the most boring party in the world for everyone to be gossiping over you having a kiss. At the end of the day, his ex knew he'd be there with you. Does he expect you to play friends for his ego? Stay at home then. Don and Lana are actually the problem for making drama. Comment C, not the a-hole. Jamie and Don were kids when they dated. High school crushes. You're all adults now. If Don can't handle it, it's his problem, not yours. As long as you and Jamie displayed normal affection, no different from any other committed couple at the party, it's Don's oversensitive nature that is at fault. I appreciate that had you known Don was close, you would have refrained. That's a kindness to take his feelings into consideration. If I were Jamie, I would have responded to the messages that, yeah, had we known Don was nearby and that he still had unresolved feelings, we would have been a bit more considerate of his feelings. But good God, it's been 6 to 7 years since we dated. Am I supposed to never display affection to another person ever again? Is he truly pinning over a high school boyfriend? We didn't kiss. There was no groping, because that would have been to spite Don and his lingering feelings. I do think the bruised peach line was brilliant.